Xogotha, city of desperation. A miserable bucket of crabs, each of them crawling on top of the other, all of them trying to reach the surface and willing to do whatever it takes, including stomping down all those around them. This is the subterranean home of the Drow, exiled to the Spider Moon 1,000 years ago by their elven kin on the forest world of Perianth. Here, in this miserable, forsaken cavern, where thousands of souls strive, driven by desperation or hatred or the grim will to survive, left with almost nothing on this barren rock, we find our heroes, John Carmichael, Asena, and Captain Flig Knorpkin?
That's right.
Flig Knorpkin. Holy crap, I got that exactly right. Recently marooned and abandoned by his crew, except for one loyal crew member, Glebnor the Plasmoid. Our heroes have made their way down from the surface after being twice betrayed. First by the erstwhile crew of the ship, second by the Drow who were supposed to come and purchase the relics of the ancients that the captain brought here from the distant world of Ashen. Under their own devices and auspices, our heroes have navigated their way down through the rivers, noticing that gelatinous mucousy ooze has flowed into the water supply that they are even now flowing along. And as they emerge into this enormous cavern, they can see the Chitines, spider humanoids who live here in the outskirts of the city. They can see the ramshackle hovels all stacked up next to 5 great towers of stone that emerge from the floor and ceiling of the cavern. And furthermore, they can tell that this water, mucousy water that flows in, has contaminated the city's main water supply, and it is taking a terrible toll. Even as they move along in their little boat, they can hear the sounds of chittering displeasure of the Chitines, these spider people, rising up, gathering together in protest and anger against their Drow overlords. Welcome to Shadow of the Spider Moon, Episode 2. Heroes, you are now inside this cavern looking at this miserable city. Each of you has your own reasons for being here, but you can tell that you have arrived in the middle of an extremely toxic and hostile situation. This gelatinous river that you rode in on is causing problems, starvation, dehydration, poisoning the mushroom crops, and it looks like in mere moments there is going to be a riot. In fact,
riot of the Chitines?
Chitines, Chitines, what the actual spider people.
Let me look up the actual pronunciation for that.
Yeah, if you can get that pronunciation for me, that'd be sweet. In fact, there's so much ruckus, and you can see them clambering from their hovels, knocking down their homes, tearing up the mushroom crop. Your arrival, Outworlders, who would normally stand out like a sore thumb here in this city of the Dark Elves, your arrival has as of yet gone unnoticed. I am going to give each of you a chance to react, investigate, choose a course of action before I show you more of what's going on here in the lower city.
As this gathering mob begins to get more and more rowdy, John's going to lean towards Asena. I'm not sure if we should get involved with this mess. We want to stay as secretive as possible, at least at first. We want to gather information before deciding which side we want to play on. What do you think?
So you want to team up with whichever one suits our interests best?
I think eventually, yes. I just don't know if we would want to team up now. Here's the thing. If we step in now, we're going to be choosing a side that will be very difficult to come back from if it's not exactly what we want. Or we could watch this play out and just see what happens and step in either later on during this encounter or down the line as we find out more about what's happening within the city.
Well, I might not agree with the reasoning, but I do think making sure that we're supporting the right side is important. I think we've also done enough damage already.
Yeah, we just touched down on the moon and we've already killed an entire group of people. Also, we still have to interrogate that one. John points back towards the illusion of a beetle dragging a bunch of mushrooms.
That's right. So you could choose to interrogate your prisoner before you fully enter the cavern and potentially expose yourselves to this water riot that's about to break out. Captain, has anything caught your eye?
My God, these are ugly people. I'm very tempted in my inner monologue to shout out, "What seems to be the trouble here?" But I ignore that to offer my disgust with the smell of the sludge around.
That was me. I'm sorry, sir. While
Good God, man. What deodorant are you using?
we don't use deodorant amongst my kind. Actually, being able to even smell us is a very rare genetic mutation. It's kind of like how 10% of people cilantro tastes like soap.
Gross.
Very good, sir. Before we proceed any further, last time on our adventure, a magic item Streamloots card was played that we never resolved. So I would like Abhora to roll 1d100, and this is a treasure that you have brought with you from your previous adventures. Or it's floating around inside Glebnor.
So it's space
/R
D100.
space 1d100. There's also a dice icon on your toolbar that you can bring up and then roll whatever you need to roll from. Can be handy.
I'm trying to get into the habit of typing it out. It seems to be faster.
Yeah.
But my computer is slowing down.
Would you like somebody else to roll for you on your behalf?
No. Grandma's gotta learn.
While we're working on that, John, you have 2 inspiration. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you kindly. Much obliged.
Wow.
You want to add those to your character sheet so I can mark those off?
Adding them now. Thank you kindly.
68, not quite nice. Abhora, you have been given 1 inspiration from chat as well.
Hey, happy birthday to me.
Okay, so you have a suit of adamantine scale mail, which, if I recall the way your character works, might be a little bit. I think you usually prefer to be more light on your feet.
That's right. I prefer something more breathable.
So Glebnor
Maybe
is
more
just
like
calling,
serpentine scale mail.
More like a codpiece made out of serpentine genitals.
Oh,
So wait, you put over the. Never mind, sir. So Glebnor is hauling around a set of adamantine scale mail, which you are not wearing, but you could use that to give it to somebody who's fighting on your behalf, or you could trade it away. It's a good thing to have in your back pocket regardless.
Sounds good.
Okay, so my question to the party. Do you want to interrogate your prisoner before you proceed? Or do you want to proceed to scout out the area to see what's going on? Or something else entirely?
you know, considering before we entered into the cavern, we weren't aware that this sludgy river was even a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You said that the source of the sludge was coming from where we came from, and it might be best, at least in John's point of view, to get out of town, interrogate the prisoner, and see if they can solve that water crisis. That might give them some, or at least figure out how to go about doing it, so that way they can use that to their advantage within the actual cavernous city.
Very well. Would you like to retrace your steps, go upriver, and see if you can find out where the sludge is mixing with the water, and or interrogate your prisoner?
If Asena and the captain are down with it, yeah.
I'm going to take the executive decision and say that's a great idea.
I just don't know what to ask it.
Well, here's the good news. This one isn't dead. So you're not necessarily on point.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, we saved a live one.
This is a perk of not killing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are advantages to not killing everybody.
Then
Okay.
yes, I'm good with that.
Although, before
I don't know.
leaving,
Maybe
though,
the fact that maybe your godly patron guy isn't gonna show up and get mad at you one day.
yeah, good call.
Hmm.
I'm sure we can.
We don't have
Check it
one of
out.
those, sir. Killing
No,
everyone
no
is still a
gods
viable
before
option.
me.
No gods, no masters. Except for you, Captain, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
All right.
Before we leave, I think it'd be a good idea, though, if we can see how this this mob shakes out. Find out
Okay.
what the brief amount of research I could do. It looks like some people are saying Chitney, which I completely disagree with. Chitines or Chitins.
But it's a ch. Either way, it's not a k in either case.
It seems like it's a ch, but I also only found white people talking. I could not find anybody that wasn't a old white man talking about it. So I'm sure that other people would have other approaches to it. So I would say
I would listen to an old white man in this case, but only if they're also a bug scientist, entomologist, and entomologist.
no, they look like nerds. They're just nerds.
Okay, yeah. If it looks like me, white dude, goatee, balding, we're a dime a
Yes.
dozen. So
Yep.
go elsewhere.
Exactly.
All right. So do you want to watch and observe?
Yes.
Okay.
Secretly.
I'm going to have each of you roll stealth checks to remain concealed. John, you may substitute an Arcana check for yourself if you're using illusion.
Ooh.
Because I knew you were going to
I'll
say
take
that you
you on
use
that.
illusions. So
Well, I mean,
figured.
I do that, but I wasn't gonna like push that.
I do that.
Okay, a 19 from John, a 14 from Asena.
Loading.
Also, while we're here, you've also received one birthday disadvantage, Matt.
I saw that. Thank you. I was waiting for a token so I could put the little red dot on there, but I appreciate that. Thank you, Chad, for coming out and representing.
And
I mean, I have a question for you.
Before we
If
do that, Asena,
Uh-huh.
one inspiration from Streamloots for you. Now you may proceed with your question.
Oh, I was just wondering, like, if just to make sure that we can have that extra layer of goodness, would John be able to use his coriander agent feature, face in the crowd, to kind of not only be kind of hidden but lost amongst the throng of passerbys and onlookers?
Not yet, because right now it's more like a duck blind where you're lurking in the back. Once you actually go up, then that would absolutely apply.
Understandable.
All right, Abhora with a 14. Okay, so I'm going to shift scenes so you can see a little bit about what's going to play out. Obviously, this is a big, fairly large area. You are here. And all these little things are either chitine hovels or mushrooms and farms that are growing. And you can see there's a number of large pillars breaking up the area. However, in your immediate vicinity, this is what you see. Assuming you can see anything. You can't see anything because you're not even on the map. All right, I'm going to put you on the map so you can actually see something.
Woohoo!
And I'm going to put you on the far side of the river. That being said, keep in mind, it is dark.
Dark. How dark?
Pitch dark, except for all the glowing fungus and mushrooms and stuff.
Can Captain Flig see in the dark?
There are light sources. So, Flig, you can see some of the gatherings in the dark areas, but otherwise you don't have natural dark vision.
My God.
I wish
Hey.
I would have known. I would have prepared that.
Well, next time.
Sorry, you didn't.
So here is the river of sludge. Again, part water, part sludge, all river. Glowing crystals and various fungi and weird growths provide some semblance of light. Many of these are being grown as crops, being tended deliberately. And you can see that there is a confrontation occurring over here. a group of armed drow are shoving the Chitines, the Chitines. It can't be chitin because chitin's just like the stuff that, you know, covers you, right? So Chitine, which one was the one you didn't like, Matt?
Chitins was the one I didn't like.
Great.
I like
the
chicken.
The chicken people. No, they're spider people.
You said chitine at one point, right? I think that one
Tastes
sounds
like
pretty cool.
chicken.
Tastes like, well, there's only one way to find out. We'll say Chitines for the time being because it's a made up fantasy word. Nobody, you know, screw the rules.
Or you can call them chai tea. That's always pretty good.
I will not call them chai tea, Mr. Proprietary. That's right out. Anyways,
chat, can you just start calling them chai tea in the chat box?
chat, if you do that, I will smite you.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Anyways, an armed group of drow is violently suppressing the uprising. Roll perception checks, all of you, as you look from your position of relative stealth.
Perception, you say, and
Perception.
even in darkness, it's going to be
natural
disadvantage, right?
Correct.
Or can we listen to not?
Listening counts here as well. All right. Abhora, what languages does the captain speak? They should be on the lower left side of your character sheet. Same for you, John. Asena, you only get visuals here.
It looks like Common and Elvish.
Okay. Whatever language they're speaking is definitely not Elvish, Abhora. It's more of a gurgling mouth noise, sort of strange tongue. However, as you see all of this, it becomes very clear that this woman right here is the leader. And
How uncharacteristically observant of me.
you can tell she's the leader. You can tell she's treating this entire situation with scorn. She's not impressed. She's not even upset. She's just like casually telling her soldiers who are answering to her, just making gestures at the Chitine, and violence ensues. She doesn't seem bothered by this or threatened by this at all. She's just strolling around, strutting around, reassigning troops with a snap of her finger. And so she's obviously the authority over all of these armed warriors. John, what languages do you speak? Actually, you know what? You roll the 30 and you're a linguist. This is Undercommon. Do you speak Undercommon?
No, I don't, but I would recognize it. I do not speak it though.
Okay. You definitely recognize it. So you can because you're a linguist, you can kind of get the gist with a 30.
Would you like me to make a linguist check, or do I?
Yeah,
need
go
to
ahead and roll
another one?
linguist. Go ahead and roll linguist just to see how much of this signal goes through.
Okay, let me scroll on up to linguistics. Oh, webam. Be a 26, and with linguistics is a 26. With a 25, I am able to hear standard conversation. I'm able to understand the basis of standard conversation.
Right. You're not like you have subtitles.
Yeah.
All right. The Chitines are cursing the Drow and their queen for letting them rot and for letting the river become tainted. They are cursing her in the name of their goddess and threatening her, saying that she is, if she can't fix this, then she is unworthy in the eyes of the goddess. The Drow are unimpressed, calling them brutes and monsters and telling them to, basically go screw. We don't care what you have to think. And reacting violently when pressed. You also absolutely can tell that this person is in charge. And you catch a name. Hanoi Zan.
Can you drop that in chat, please?
Yes. And this is an important person. This is somebody who the rest of them are deferring to, including the mages that are traveling with them. You see bolts of magic flying forth as the mages let loose with cantrips to reinforce order. And there's a priestess of Lolth with them as well. cursing
they
them
aiming
right.
to kill or just injuring?
They are aiming to kill in some cases. They're not. I'll say they're not afraid to kill. They're here to make examples of those who won't cooperate, so they can drive the rest back. They're not aiming to slaughter, but they're not fighting to disable either.
Are we able to notice as the Chitin are being killed off during this less an uprising and more so an angry mob, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a riot. It's a riot. It's not an armed rebellion. It's a riot.
So during this riot, as they're being effectively put down by their overlords, are they reacting fearfully or are they getting more aggressive?
They are
or somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Based on Abhora, do you have any skills? Does the captain have any skills that might be helpful for battle knowledge, tactical knowledge, understanding the balance of power in this military engagement?
Let me see. Seasoned Sea Dog, skill expert, but nothing to do with, well, martial versatility, but I think that just makes me a good fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on. All I knows is the sea.
But if somebody needs you to do an impressive backflip, your acrobatics is like a plus 14.
Well, if I've stretched first, yes.
Do you need help with your exercises, sir?
Ready my yoga mat.
And Glednor just like squishes down into the form of a mat. Anyways, by an analysis of this, John, it looks like the Chitines are giving ground. They're going to fall back, but it's not like they've been cowed into submission. It's more like one of those reluctantly recognizing that they don't have this, but there's still a lot of stirring resentment. Left, Asena, you can tell that left to their own devices, the Drow are going to hold off with some casualties. They have the upper hand in the fight, but kind of only locally.
Yeah.
And especially because Hanoi Zan is leading them and is not afraid to just get in there with a sword when necessary.
Well, we still have popcorn if we want to just watch.
What would you like to do, heroes?
I yell out, are you spiders or are you Chitines?
Would either of you like to intervene first or persuade to the contrary?
The only thing I will say, and now that we're speaking up, I'm going to make it known, John's portion of their stealth check with Arcana was making us all look like Drow.
Okay.
Or at least appropriate. So far, I've only seen Drow and Chitines. And so I would say we look like either one, and it seems like it'd be easier for our group to look like Drow at this point. Then,
okay, so you look like
these monstrous spiders creatures. They don't have clothing on, I would assume.
Correct.
And do they have multiple appendages or just like one pair of arms?
They have 4 arms.
Yeah, that would be a little more difficult to get away with. We're gonna. There's so far, aside from the Chitines and the Drow, have we seen any other creatures down here that would resemble humanoid?
No.
Then Drow it is.
Okay. Abhora, roll an intimidation check. For everyone else, it's going to look like you're Drow speaking from across the way. And what language are you calling out in, Captain?
Why, the greatest language in the universe, Common.
Oh,
I was going to say, they don't speak Murican here.
Intimidation. Okay.
20.
I throw in a
John, go ahead.
John try, because he can understand what the captain's attempting to do, I would assume. Can he try to, I can't make him say something he's not saying, but since John has a grasp of what's going on here, can he at least, I don't know, use a minor image to make it sound kind of undercommon-y? Like it's common. Can he kind of like give it a little inflection? It's like mostly, wait, did that sound like words? And then the buck can kind of sell it, you know?
You can go for that. Give me a Arcana check, please.
Done. 17.
17. Okay. Zanoi Han and the immediate warriors surrounding her snap in your direction. Soft orders are given out in Elvish before a group heads towards you. There is a river between the two of you about 20 feet wide.
Oh boy.
Is there anyone around here?
Your side is fairly bare at the moment.
So no blend into the crowd over here.
Correct.
Where is our boat? How far away are we from our boat?
How far do you want to be from your boat? You have some
Well,
control over the situation.
I
Not
mean, how
far.
fast can the boat move? I'm assuming in sledge, not very fast.
Mm-hmm. Not very fast indeed.
Okay, can we say, just because of how the situation is, that we stashed the boat and the cargo nearby so we can find a crowd to blend into? John's gonna, as soon as these guys start reacting, John's gonna immediately move into action and kind of give Asena the "we need to get the hell out of here" look, and kind of grab the captain by the arm and continue with the weird buck sounds as they're trying to rush towards a crowd of people and lose themselves in order to start a chase scene instead of a "we're going to jail" scene.
Got it. It looked less like they were just immediately marching over to arrest you and more like they were walking over to say, "Who the hell said that?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we
But you
still
can
aren't
still
going to be
dip.
able to have a very good conversation considering none of us speak Undercommon.
You can definitely dip. You can absolutely dip. All right. Go ahead and use your face in the crowd ability, John.
Okay.
And then, Abhora, you can use stealth or deception or performance, whichever is best here, as you chicken cluck your way into the darkness. Holy wall of text, Batman.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, but basically, as we start running, John starts modifying the spell he's using to kind of cover all of them in his illusion. He'll have them turn
23
their
stealth.
clothes, like their cloaks inside out, and their jackets and whatnot, to kind of start making things look a little bit different. He starts kind of mussing up people's hair, all the various, like, putting on little glasses and things like that in order to kind of start making them look a little bit different, make them look like they kind of belong at least a little bit differently, and is going to try and throw off this chase. So with that, it's going to require 1d4 rounds to complete. So let me go ahead and roll 1d4.
And Asena, one round. Quick fix.
One round of
Asena, if the party is attempting to avoid confrontation here, what is your approach? Stealth, performance, deception, something else?
I could do stealth.
Cool. Give me a stealth check. 23. Okay. You are all...
Stealthy.
And then, John, give me a performance check, please.
question, mate. Do there appear to be Drow here that aren't a part of this brute squad?
Yeah, there are. Not in your immediate vicinity, but close enough that you can sort of blend into them. This is...
And are they lower class?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if we're going...
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
then this will affect the mod. We're going to try and dress and act. We're going to change our body language and the way that we look. And John's not trying to go for sex or ancestry difference. We're leaving the illusion that we are a Drow up. And so just a societal difference should give me a +2 by a -2 modifier to this.
Okay, roll performance check.
Here comes the performance check.
A 19. Okay,
My God, it was the performance of a lifetime.
applause.
He's like,
applause.
Asena, straighten. You bend. Take this mustache. Take this hat.
So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you managed to melt away in the crowd of miserable mushroom farmers and like river dredgers and stuff like that. The bad news is chat just played a long arm of the law card, meaning that where you have successfully vanished, but there are people looking out for you. As far as they know, they're just looking for some mouthy drow who don't know their place. But that still means that they are hunting. They're searching around. So that is enough for us to get off of this battle mat and back to the city map. You are once again roughly here.
Yeah. As soon as we get somewhere off the beaten path, John's gonna do the whole putting his hand like in front, like against a wall, blocking the captain's path, and then kind of does that like not super like closer to being like sexually charged than like angry, kind of like lean in where like he kind of pushes in like face to face. Question, Abhora, how tall is the captain? I want a quick reminder to make sure. Is John looking up, down, or forward?
5'11".
Okay, slightly down, but not by much. Hey, Captain, I can understand your need to make a scene where we go and help the little guy out, but we're kind of in a bit of a clandestine situation here. We need to remain, for the most part, unobserved until the time is right. That was pulling the trigger just a bit too soon. If you wouldn't mind.
Who mutinied and made you captain?
Nobody, thank goodness. I don't want that responsibility. But as our captain, I need to ensure that you're making the right decisions for all of us. Because, I mean, come on. Scruffy there, I think they're looking a little bit agitated. They got that wandering eye. Obviously, your Batman isn't going to betray you. They're obviously enamored with you. But I can't say the same for Scruffy, unfortunately. So we're going to need to ensure that going forward, maybe check with us before we decide to jump into that kind of a situation. That would have been very ugly.
Sounds good.
That being said, I think that you were on the right side. I think when it comes down to it, we're going to have to use these chitines and maybe push these riots and these protests that seem to be gathering across the city, maybe cause a full-blown uprising. If we can have the Drow so distracted by the chitines pushing into their fortresses and knocking down their walls because of their poor treatment, that would be the perfect distraction we need to sneak into the upper echelon of their society and take out a certain illithid advisor. So you're on the right track.
Well, yay for me.
And with that, John will push away, and he's going to, at least for now, drop their disguises, at least the ones he's fabricated. Whew. Okay, so let's take stock of this. We have a group of servitile workers who are unhappy with the way they're being treated, are unhappy with their living conditions, and they are not just threatening their oppressors, but they are calling them unworthy in the eyes of their own god. Whereas the Drow are barely reacting to this hatred against them, and they are willing to kill these workers with abandon. It seems as though they're under some kind of, well, obviously, this is basically like an occupation. They're during a very intense war, so we can use that. I think we should try to sneak our way back to our boat, head back out here temporarily, and find out where the source of this water issue is coming from. But before we leave, we should try to find out, obviously the chitines want this issue fixed. We need to leverage that. We need to find out who we can get in contact with to where if we can fix this issue, who's going to be able to back us and support us. We need to find allies here.
Why don't we ally with both sides and see which one works out?
That's an incredible idea, Asena. What do you propose?
Well, if we fix the water issue for some people and then, I don't know, find an excuse to talk to the others and see what they need help with.
Putting down the descent. What if we are able to try and get involved with a Drow taskmaster, or possibly even that Anoizan, that leader that was obviously so keen on continuing the oppression? If one of us can get in close to a group of the Chitines and another of us can get in close to a Drow overleader, we could play both sides, as you suggested.
Well, I volunteer to subdue and woo Hanoi. I'd like to get tangled in her web, if you know what I mean.
I think that's an incredible idea, and I think I know just how we can do it. If I have an evening where I have a chance to re-prepare what I have available at my disposal, arcane-wise, I mean, I can give you the ability to speak on a level playing field and modify your body as such to where, at least to all but the most careful of observers, you'll appear in sight, sound, and smell to be a drow. And Asena, while our erstwhile captain is off wooing the drow overlord, we could see about allying ourselves with these oppressed peoples and fixing this water supply issue.
I like it.
Or we could do a three-way split. One remain with the Chitines, one remain with the drow, and the other head off and figure out the water issue. That way we're killing three birds with one stone.
Well,
And making it incredibly difficult for the GM.
Bring it on, nerd.
Captain would need a phone.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Oh, like some sort of musical playing device? What phone?
You know what we could do as a temporary solution? And John is going to go ahead and take his earpiece out and give it to the captain. Okay, so with this, you'll be able to have direct communication with Asena. I think it's probably best. Actually, Asena, would you rather go fix the water issue, or would you rather try to befriend the Chitines? I almost feel like your strength and abilities could be useful showing the Chitines how impressive you can be. You're extremely persuasive when you mean to be, and I feel that with your natural friendly aura, you'll be able to befriend these creatures rather easily. Or we could use your skills out in the wilds. You're very good at being able to track even lands that you're unfamiliar with, and I'm sure that you can handle yourself with whatever happens out there.
Yeah, I think probably the water. Figuring out the water would be better for me right now.
Okay, then I think, actually, now that I consider that, it might be best if, Asena, you wouldn't mind letting the captain borrow your earpiece, because if you and I were able to communicate via our cellular devices, or rather, I guess they're technically ether devices, if we're able to communicate with our phones, and I'm able to communicate with the captain via the headset, and we're both in town, then we should be able to use me as a hub of sorts. Especially considering I'm going to be coming in and out from interacting with these oppressed workers. I should be able to more easily get away than the captain would with their probably far more perceptive companion. What do you think?
Asena will take her earpiece out and give it to the captain. Put this in your ear.
Why would I do that? I wipe it off.
So you could hear John's, that way when we split up, you could
Yeah.
hear John.
I heard the whole spiel. I'll just stick it in my ear. You don't have to tell me twice.
Captain, you literally
Okay,
just
so testing. Can you hear me?
Ah! My God.
Sorry, let me back away a little bit. Okay, is that better?
A little bit, but I hear a ringing now.
Yeah, that's how you know it's working. It'll damage your brain ever so slightly at first, but you'll get used to it.
All right. Well, that's pretty handy. What do you call these futuristic popcorn pieces?
Telecommunicators.
Telecommunicators. All right. Well, fancy stuff you got here.
And so you want me to just call you on the phone?
Yeah, I think that would be best. If you have anything you have to share with the captain or vice versa, I'll be able to pass the information along to either, or I'll be able to tell the captain via the telecom and then you via the ether device if anything comes up or we need to get back together quickly.
Okay.
Also, that's actually a really good point, sending you out into the wild, because you'll have the best chance of surviving, and I can find you if it turns out we don't get back together in time.
You can find me?
Yeah, I've been carrying around pieces of your hair for a long time. I can just cry on you.
You took my hair?
That's a little bit intense, dude.
Hold on. When
Crying on a girl?
No. Scrying, Captain. I'd be able to use magic.
Boys don't cry, John.
No, hold on. I'm waiting. That's a bit of an outdated remark there, I would say, Captain. You're in the... Actually, I don't know what year it is here.
Boys do cry, but men don't.
Well, Captain, you might want to sit down and have yourself a good old cry and see how it helps, because it might open your eyes a bit.
Don't need to. Super happy.
Well, good. And I'm glad to hear it. In any case, we would all be able to communicate with each other this way, even though it'd be nice if we had one more phone or one telecommunicator. I don't think we have enough time to produce either. At least not with the meager preparations that we've made. In any case, I'm going to find out what I can about what's going on with these Chitines and their woes. Captain, I'll need you to wait until tomorrow before we have you attempt to seduce the Drow Overlord, because I'll need some time to prepare you.
And that'll give me time to practice my Elvish. My poetry's a little rusty, but I might be able to pull a limerick or two.
Fantastic. That sounds great.
There once was a drow from Macau, whose wife he could something. I can't remember.
Keep workshopping it, sir. I'm sure it'll turn out just fine. Just don't go with the one about Nantucket.
Oh, yes. Classic.
Thus resolved, our heroes have their ideas, they have their marching orders, they also have Scruffy and a captive drow. What do you want me to do with this one?
Let's break his hand, Salty Jimbo.
Whoa, wait a minute. We should probably talk to them first, and we can threaten the breaking if it would help, but I'd prefer not to torture our companion, Captain.
All right, you're the captain.
For a long time.
Well, not needlessly anyway. Like
Also,
you said, leverage.
Leverage, exactly.
Needless like he needs less hands.
Leverage, eh? Put his hands up on a boulder and then smash him.
Now, hold on a minute. We don't mean literal leverage, Captain.
It's a simple machine. Amplifies forces at work.
Brilliant.
Okay, Jimbo, when did you start talking, by the way? This is nice to be able to finally... Or have we spent enough time with you? We now understand the mumbles. Is that what's happening?
No, it'll warm up the strangers and fast and all.
Oh, okay. I understand. Very good.
Salty Jimbo's a sensitive, solitary soul. But he's a good listener.
He seems as much.
Does Salty Jimbo cry?
That's what I was about. Yeah, exactly. Asena, same.
That's why we call him Salty Jimbo.
Because of the tears?
Because of, like, the tears?
That's right.
I've only ever cried one single teardrop. Before
That's
that
100 times more than any of my men.
Before that teardrop fell into the sparkling seas of Quelia, it was a freshwater sea.
Whoa.
So you're saying
Salty Jimbo, you struck gold again.
There it is.
That's going in the book.
Okay, well, apparently we found at least somewhat of a safe place to spend our time. Why don't we see about getting a hold of that captive? We need to find our way back to the boat, so that way we can find that knocked out drow. They're not going to be unconscious for long, and we'll make the plan that we just came up with to see about undoing this entire civilization before it undoes the universe.
It's not difficult for you
Or
to
the
retrace
sources.
your steps and get back to where you've stashed everything in a dank and dripping river cavern just off the edge of the slimy river. You've scouted out this area enough that you have a relatively secure location. Will it stand up for investigation long? Don't know yet.
Okay.
But until you take like a long rest, this is a safe zone.
Okay. Very good.
The
Well,
captain.
man, I hope you have your drow voice ready.
My drow voice is always ready.
Ooh.
The captive is slowly stirring, covered in bruises and somewhat delirious. It's still securely bound. What do you do, heroes?
You know when the good guys tend to wake up the bad guys by throwing water on them? Well, we do that too, but it's horrible sludge water. Oh, glad to see you're finally awake. Hi there. John Carmichael. Pleasure to meet you. We killed
With-
Salty Jimbo break his hands.
Huh?
Okay, now that we have your attention, hi, John Carmichael and companions. We are here on a very, very clandestine mission, and we killed all of your companions. We left you alive because we need information. This is a time of war. I'm sure you understand how that goes. We're going to ask questions, and you're going to answer them. If there's anything that you think we need to hear and that could spare your life, please offer it up. There's going to be a point system. The better you do, the better a chance I'm going to heal your hands and send you on your way. If you get too low too quickly, you're going to join your friends. So, what's your name?
Roll an intimidation or persuasion check, please, John.
I think intimidation is kind of where we're sitting right now. That'd be a natural 20 for a 27.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. That's what happened. Wait. I have disadvantage. I didn't.
You
roll
do
it
have
earlier.
disadvantage. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna be fair on this. It would have been really good, and it's still pretty good. 19.
It's still pretty good. Dresmorlin of the House of Juaneld.
Oh,
What are-
Hanelt?
What are-
That's the house that you're supposed to mess.
Off-worlders doing here?
Off-roading.
The house I'm supposed to what?
The house you're supposed to mess up, right, Hanelt?
Good luck.
What is it like? It's hard.
House Juaneld is the most cunning, the most deadly. You'll never see them coming for you. All the sins that you have perpetrated upon my house will be repaid in kind at the end of a shadowed and poisoned blade.
Were the rest of your friends from that house?
Yes.
Oh, so maybe it's not so bad that I killed him.
Oh, it's bad. And it's only going to get worse for you, off-worlders.
Oh, I just meant like in the grand cosmos scheme of things, not like
You
in
should
your
be more concerned about the
situation.
knife in the ribs scheme of things. How do you
You know,
feel
you're
about
giving me a lot of
poison?
ideas. I seem to think that you're the one tied up with your broken hands before us, and you're putting up a very good show. and I respect that. I appreciate that. Mate, what was that name again?
Dresmorlin of the House of Hlaneld. I'll drop it.
It's all one word. That makes sense.
No apostrophes either. They're not that powerful. Truly
They're not
powerful
like that.
elves have lots of apostrophes.
So many. Absolutely just throngs of apostrophes. So, before your gunslinger leader decided to make the very poor choice of attacking us, how was that deal supposed to go down? The one where you surprised us at and were thinking about taking our stuff? What was the preferred ending there?
Well, the disposable mercenary ship was supposed to arrive to give the goods to the Duskrin meatheads, and then they would ostensibly trade. Maybe they'd betray them. Maybe they'd kill them. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their heads. And then they would take the treasures of the ancients to House Duskrin. Except that we killed House Duskrin's people before they got here and took their place, so we could bring it for the glory of House Hlaneld instead.
Gotcha. So you betrayed the people who were supposed to betray us to begin with.
Betrayal. It's not a betrayal. It's outmaneuvering.
Sorry, outmaneuvered. My apologies.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
like the way you talk.
But does
sure?
that mean
Yeah.
that I didn't betray anyone? I outmaneuvered them?
No idea what your loyalties are, off-worlder.
Damn.
Betrayal is when you stab someone you were supposed to trust and serve in the back. Stabbing someone you're supposed to stab is just politics.
What if you're not supposed to stab anyone?
Then you're clearly not in Xogotha.
Oh, burn.
Right, Captain. So I'm just keeping up with the culture of this place.
Exactly.
Well, Dresmorlin of House Hlaneld, thank you very much for enlightening us. You're doing very well, by the way. We are here, as I said, on a mission to outmaneuver, we're politicians, as it were, in order to ensure that we can change the game in this place, as it were. Let me ask you, how familiar are you with the workings of what's happening out in the greater Pyre space? Are your house's focus here within the city, or do you perchance make your way out to Spelljam in the stars?
I haven't been off-world yet, personally, if that's what you're asking.
It is what I'm asking. So, your house, we understand that there are those that share your name that do go off-world. Is your house in general connected in that sort of way, or was it possibly a one-off, the group that we murdered earlier today? Sorry, outmaneuvered.
They had their assignments, which were specific to this place.
Okay.
Other agents and members of our house are further upon the stars, chasing down the fat-laden ships of our decadent long-lost cousins, or the pitiful humans, and the others who ply the space lanes. No offense, you seem like an alright guy.
Oh, absolutely.
No, not you, I was talking to him.
Oh, yeah, no, understandable. I get it. So, are you as keen on avenging yourself in the eyes of your god by betraying your family as your, I'm assuming, house cousin was?
I'm keen on fulfilling the objectives set forth for the greater glory of House Hlaneld, who deserves their rightful place amongst the gods.
Fantastic. So, let me ask you this. I know that you said that you weren't, you have your own particular mission, obviously. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you say you'd be in the politics of your house?
Easily a high 8, bordering on a 9.
Do I believe what he's saying?
Roll an insight check, please.
Because I would love it if he was speaking the truth. A dirty 20. And
He wasn't.
Never mind. Okay. Did Salty Jimbo break both of his hands? Just one of his hands?
You said break his hands.
Hmm.
The hands is broken.
Plural. You gotta be specific with Salty Jimbo.
No, it's
He's
fine.
like
Well,
a
the thing is,
genie.
he's got 2 hands, and he's got, I would assume, 10 fingers. So we have 10 more chances to speak truthfully. So, Salty Jimbo, if you wouldn't mind.
Don't mind if I do.
Maybe closer to a 5? A 3?
At the moment,
2.
Somewhere in the mid 2.
Okay.
If I succeeded, maybe a 3 or a 4.
Okay. How would you have succeeded?
By
bringing back this loot?
the Duskgrin plunder of the ancients back.
Okay, so if you were able to, let's say, bring back this treasure of the ancients, outmaneuvering your rival house of Duskgrin, and perhaps bringing some captives back that may be able to help further your house's goal, you might be pushed up to a solid 4 then, right?
I'm listening.
Okay, so let me just spin you a little tale here. Dresmorland, we're looking to shake things up here in Xogotha, and I feel like you're a mover and a shaker. You're really good at the whole outmaneuvering thing, and we're Nephilites. We're just learning about your culture. You're sharing with us, and obviously we're sharing with you right now. You know what we're capable of. You've seen it. Now, we're more than just pretty faces and tough hands. We've got a little more to offer. And what I'm thinking is, you do as well. We would like to help House Laneld move closer to your goddess, as it were, give you that rightful place you need. But in order to do so, there are others who are going to have to step down, right? Or be maybe shaken and moved, displaced a bit. Who currently is the biggest players here in Xogotha? Which house has the most clout, as it were?
Zalvir. Queen Wyclara of House Zavir.
Okay. Zavir. And one more time, Queen
Wyclara.
Very good.
Glebnor, are you getting this down? Are you taking notes?
Yes, sir. And you see, he's just like.
And mate, is what just Moreland is telling John, this is the information that we've gotten before heading here, that it's going to be Queen Wyclara is working with our target, right?
Correct.
Dresmorland, what would it take, you think, in order to, if we were able to set up the perfect conditions for House Severe to fall, or at least take a bit of a nosedive? What would be needed to make that happen? Realistically.
House Zavir is the one that brought us the life jamming that has gotten us off world through our benefactors. They work strictly with House Zavir. Also, about a generation ago, Queen Wyclara gave birth to a sign of our queen's great favor. And so as far as everyone sees, she has the favor of Lolp.
Who was this child, or what was the sign?
It's not quite Drow and not quite demon,
Oh.
but something that's both.
Mate, I feel like John would probably know what this is. Does John know what this is?
Dragoloth.
That's it. Dragoloth.
And they are, in fact, demonic creatures that are born as signs of Lolth's favor to her most loyal priestesses.
How long ago was that?
10 years?
Oh, so this is a battle-ready Dragoloth then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the favor of Loth, obviously. A battle-ready Drow demon, and an extremely powerful house that's very likely good at outmaneuvering all of those that would attempt any sort of coup. And of course, access to spelljamming. However, I'm assuming there's more than just House Deskrin, Planeld, and Xavier here within this great city of Xogotha. Do you have any other house allies or anyone that you've come to work with in the past?
Oh, that's not a word that we have in our language. That one, allies. Yeah, it's not part of our lexicon.
Well, again, as we learn, we grow, and I'm looking to enlarge myself considerably. So what is the word that you would use that most closely resembles what I've said?
Pawns.
Okay, how many pawns
Roofs.
does House Broadland have? Planeld, rather.
Hanelt, we have eyes and ears everywhere. The other great two
Yes.
families are Ilalora. On Dungeon Master's note, don't come up with names that you don't know how to pronounce. Here. They care only for war and gold and plunder. As long as they have blades and enemies to fight and treasures to take, they're happy. And then
There's just too many vowels.
it is a lot of
And not
vowels.
apostrophes.
It's like
See, no, you get it. You get it. Hanel, it's much more concise, much more, right? It's got that to it.
Anyway, sorry.
And how then there's the hardliners, the real old school type, House Bainval. Those are the 5 great houses of Xogotha. The families that have managed to claw themselves up.
Bainval, Deskrin, and
Xavier. Yeah, Juaneld. Yep. And the Illithids, our benefactors, have put their power behind House Xavier, and so they're in charge.
and
But, you know,
Blavel.
Them.
Now, for Banval, you said that your house is cunning, their house is king, their house is all about fighting, and apparently Deskrin is all about getting their asses kicked. So what does Banval do?
Whoa.
They crave the favor of Lolth. They are the most loyal, the most pious, the most dedicated to the Spider Queen, and they do not like the fact that Queen like White Clara has been shown such grace when they have been more pious.
Okay, so pious priestesses and mages, I would assume.
Mages is more of a Duskrin thing. They've been sending out agents to collect. That's why they hired this captain and his ship to bring back the artifacts of the ancients. They've been researching heavily into that stuff.
I see. Meatheads and mages, pious priestesses, golden plunder, cunning, and the important one. Okay, so you sound like the house that we want to get involved with, period, because it seems like whereas the others would bring the sword, the shield, and the magic, you seem to be, as you said, the poison knife in the shadow. The one that if things are going to be outmaneuvered, at least the most succinctly, you're the house to come to. Well, this is good. And you say that House Bindval, they despise Xavier for the position they currently have. So if you were to find a pawn that would be most, at least, zealotous or useful in trying to coup against the current leading house, they'd probably be the one to go to.
Well, they're probably already trying it.
Well, obviously, you're not the only cunning drow in the city.
Just the most.
All right, well, the most cunning, what would it take in order to make such a coup happen within the next few days? What would you need from a group of influential outsiders that may be able to grease some palms and make some things move? Obviously, for the glory of House Lanelt and for the rising in the ranks of Dressmorland from a middling 2 to an 8 or a 9.
Roll a persuasion check, please, John. And if the other two are chiming in any way, you can also roll relevant checks. Your call.
I would like to use a deduction die on this.
Okay, go ahead. A 21 total.
And I have something else. If that's not successful, I keep mentioning it, but you know what it is.
Keep in mind, this is like a rank and file drow. A 21 is probably going to cut it.
It's probably fine, but you know they're the most cunning, so you never know.
You don't want to
He
mess
could
with the
just be
most cunning. True.
pretending to be rank and file. You know, who knows? Who knows?
If we bring back the cargo, then I'm willing to bet that you could get, outsiders though you may be, I'm willing to bet you could get an audience with Guildmaster Flitch.
Guildmaster Flitch.
Yes.
Really? With the names you've been bouncing around, your leader is Flitch?
What's wrong with the name Flitch?
It just sounds so halfling. I mean, am I being honest? Like,
you take that back. You absolutely take that. Or you best not say that to the man's face. I swear by the spider goddess, that will not end well for you, outsiders.
I think I'd have to bend down pretty far to talk to Grandmaster Flitch, if you know what I mean. But I'll take your counsel into consideration.
I'd like all three of you to roll insight checks, please.
Be
a 24 from Asena, 26 from John, and a natural 1.
Oh, no.
It's not even here. The captain's like picking his nails, like, look, can we be done with this already?
All right. So, John and Asena, you have both noticed that Dresmorlin is trying very hard not to, that last comment really does not want to show that he thought it was actually kind of funny. What he thought it was actually kind of funny. Abhora, since you got a natural 1 for a total of 0, how would the captain completely misconstrue this interaction?
Oh no.
That drow is making fun of my mother.
But you never. You should.
I saw it on your face.
Oh, is your mother a halfling?
Yeah. That's Flig is a halfling name.
My condolences.
I pull out my pistol and I aim it at his face.
Now hold on, Captain. Admittedly, he obviously was causing great insult to you and your family. However, we did kill all of his brethren in the last encounter. I think that in this case, we might let bygones be bygones. We're working out some sort of parlay in order to help our future goals.
We sure did kick their asses. And what's one more? And I pull the hammer back.
I'm assuming if our captive friend would merely apologize for the great insult that he is forced upon your family with his venomous, cunning tongue. John's gonna look at the guy like, you need to can play this off or you're dead, son. Obviously, not understanding the gravest of situations he's in, Captain. I'm sure he did not mean to say exactly the horrible thing he did. Did you not, friend?
I am most sincerely and conclusively sorry.
Then why don't I believe you?
Because if you pull that trigger, you're going to let everybody in this entire cavern know you're here.
Well,
You could just break a finger.
Well, today's my birthday, and I always wanted a surprise party. And I let go of the hammer.
Can I get perception checks from all three of you?
Oh God.
26. 25
Pods, you're on fire tonight.
and an 18.
I know I've never been this perceptive before.
For real though, dude.
Okay. He mutters something under his breath in Undercommon. Well, he sighs something under his breath in Undercommon. And as far as you can tell, Abhora is just, oh.
I think he said something else about my mother. But I couldn't be too sure. My Undercommon is rusty.
Mate, did John happen to understand the gist of what he said?
Yeah, the gist of it was, I actually am sorry that your mother's a halfling.
Now
Well,
wait, so
then-
just to clarify, John is pretty intelligent, but Matt's a fool. When you say pull the hammer back, did you mean you at the last moment shot him, or the last moment pulled your?
Pulled the punch, did not shoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank goodness. Okay.
Went all the way up to the edge and then backed down. Otherwise, we'd be rolling for damage, heads would be exploding, patrols would be
Oh,
on their
I
way
thought-
off.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Oh,
Oh, did you want to shoot him?
Nah, I can roll with this. That's fine.
I'm sorry. I
Whatever's-
totally thought that you were
Whatever's
like,
funnier.
yeah, I thought you were just like, not today. Yeah, I apologize. I misinterpreted that.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
see, I'm not the idiot.
I
Joe
actually,
is.
I'm
no.
on Joe's. I thought it was what Joe said.
That's
so
what I was. I was like,
we're-
wait a minute. I was so
We're
confused.
50
Like
50 here.
the words sounded like he died, but then everyone's response sounded like he lived, and I was like, I'm so confused.
All right. For now, we will say that the captain went right up to the edge, let him know he was willing to take another step, and then backed down.
Yeah, it's classy.
It's classy.
Just like me.
Oh, sir. Okay.
John
Team.
leans in close for a moment and it's like, and I can only keep him back for so long. My captain is a dangerous man. He was the one who demanded that we execute your entire party for even daring to ascertain that you might be able to pull one over on us. Now, look, I can only keep him back for so long, so I'm going to need you to work with me a little bit faster. You've been great. Your points are so
Eileen-
high right now.
I lean over to Glebnor. I go, I can't figure out how this damn thing works. I thought I was letting go of the hammer, and it just misfired. I really
You have to
thought I
pull
was
the
gonna
trigger
kill
when
him.
you're done, sir. See?
No.
You-
Damn it.
You-
Well, these things should come with an instruction.
They did, sir. It was on the ship. They left with it.
And I threw it away. I
That's what that
don't
paper
need to be
was.
told.
Of course not,
Not
sir.
not a child. I know how to fire a gun.
Absolutely, sir. Roll a deception check, John. This is I'm calling this a half truth.
It is definitely a half truth. 22.
Very well, off-worlder. But I can tell you that this kind of descent in the ranks would get you killed where I come from.
Well, luckily for you, I am dissenting, and I'll take it one step further. And John is going to cast Blessed Halo. And he's going to heal the man's broken wrist and finger.
Okay. Roll a flat charisma check, please.
Flat charisma check, you say?
Mm-hmm. An 8.
I would like to use a lucky die to try that again.
Okay, go ahead.
That
A
was
24,
flat
much better.
charisma.
Roll for Riz. Riz not detected.
Roll Frid.
Okay, all right. It heals up. The light is very out of place in this dark place for a moment, and when he returns, Jesmorland's hands are fully functional again. Looks at them, checks them for a moment, shakes them out, shivers. Now what?
Well, now we make our plan. We'll need to know everything that is necessary to know about this place. Again, we've started sharing our cartels. You'll need to make sure that you catch us up on exactly what we need to know in this place. We have an evening to prepare. So I'm ready to sit down and listen. I hope the rest of my compatriots are. And in whenever you folk here passes the morning, we'll go ahead and make our way to your house. You'll be bringing one of us along as a prisoner, as well as the rest of the boon, while the others take care of the rest of our plan. And before we go too much further, John's going to have a brief aside while Scruffy watches the drow.
Team huddle, team huddle.
So, hey, quick update to the plan. I think we still move along with it. Asena, you head out to find out what's wrong with the water. I'll try and do the usurping. But, Captain, I've already put the fear of God into him because you've shown exactly just how threatening you can be. Fantastic job, by the way. I think that you, Glebnor, and Salty Jimbo should go with the Dresmorland. Go with Dresmorland. Pretend as though some terrible occurrence had happened. There was that mutiny, huge fight between your previous ship and theirs. Everyone died, but the one lone drow soldier, using their cunning and their guile, were able to get a hold of the loot, capture you and your crew, and while en route back to their house, you put forth this brilliant plan about how you and the sleeper agents that you have waiting within the city are going to be able to move and strike against House Severe, and all they'll need is a well-placed blade from Guildmaster Flinch in order to do it. You are going to be our sleeper agent in order to cause dissent among the ranks of Xogotha. What do you say, Captain? With this, by the end of this adventure, you should be not just in charge of a ship, you should be in charge of an impressive drow galleon that you'd be able to use to strike fear into the hearts of all who would come by you, and you can find your old mutinying crew and put them all to the sword. Or welcome them back to your ranks as you see fit.
I think the best revenge is a life well lived, while making the people who made fun of you watch.
I see. That sounds perfect. Make them jesters among your court.
Or
some such.
buoys.
Or buoys. There you go. Make them all. God, make them all buoys. My goodness. But what do you both think?
Yes, space buoys. Very necessary in space boat travel. To let you know if there's anything under the space.
It happens from time to time. What do you think, Captain? You think we can pull this off?
I think that's a great plan. Glad I almost thought of it.
And Asena, what have you?
Well, I'm gonna go trace down the bad water.
Perfect.
I can't really come up with much of a plan. I'm just gonna kind of figure it out.
I think you'll be able to do much more than figure it out. I think you'll solve it. And I will leverage your solution to hopefully get us some sort of a makeshift army within the city. And Captain, you're going to get the allies we need in order to take this chaos of the Chitin uprising in order to strike at the heart of Xogotha. And
yes,
when each of us has finished with our tasks, we will have what we need.
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Finish our clandestine mission. Fantastic. All right, everybody, put your hands in the center. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, break his hands if he fucks up. Remember, we will break his hands if he fucks up.
All right. So, to clarify, first off, are you all leaving today or are you taking a long rest first?
I need a rest because I need to be able to give our fair captain some good spells to pass himself off as a drow.
Okay.
Yes, and I would love a weekend in Cabo.
That won't be possible without the ship, sir.
Oh, you're right. Then
Actually,
we'll just best western to Tijuana.
Also not possible with the ship, sir.
All right. Well, let's just go there in our minds then, Glebnor, if that's how you want to play it.
I've been there the whole time, sir.
Fine.
and actually, now that I think about it, Captain, you're not going to be pretending to be a drow anymore. You're going to be your illustrious self. So I guess we can go forward with this plan whenever we fit, whenever we so
It's
choose.
the role I've studied my whole life to play.
And you're doing it splendidly.
Well, I've been half-assing it.
Better a half-ass than a full-ass.
This whole hour I've been going in and out of it. But yeah.
I understand.
All right.
Then
You, John?
I will certainly need an evening to be able to prepare what I need. But I think either of you, if you wish to, it might be best for us to get a rest since we've been kind of at this all day.
Would you all like to rest, or would some of you like to head out immediately?
Asena will rest.
Okay.
I'll rest as well.
Glebnor takes first watch, and our heroes...
Quickly,
Mhm.
before we do this watch thing, would Dresmorland be able to, using you as a mouthpiece, give us some of the highlights of what dangers Asena might encounter while out in the wilds of the Spider Moon, and what other threats may be lurking within the city that we may not have known at first glance?
Well, first off, your map has been updated with the locations of the major families, the dark market, and you should be able to see all of these things when you scan around. So that is Dresmorland's contribution. As for what's out there, slimes, centipedes, the occasional pack of ghouls, a few ogres. Like it's just strange and alien creatures roaming through the darkness and the wilds. As for inside the city, the greatest threat is from the Drow themselves. Assassins lurking in every shadow. Like it's a lawless place. It's only held together by armed force. They have very little in the way of mineral resources, so they're getting by with almost nothing. So people get killed for their belongings all the time.
Oh, good.
You want to either go completely undetected or show a force whenever you're out and about in the city. Because if you look weak, they'll jump you. And I think we'll go ahead and leave our heroes here as we go to a short break. When we come back, we will be joined by Bombay, who has another part of this entire story to tell.